Okay, so tonight's topic, content marketing basics, creating search engine optimization friendly content, that's SEO friendly content for business growth. So, what is content marketing? Content marketing is a specific type of marketing that includes creating online material and then sharing it. Um, and it's designed to spark interest in a business's products or services. So it's designed to entice people to want to come and learn more about your business. So this includes social media posts, it includes newsletters and blogs, it includes other online communications, and we're going to discuss them all. And the the basic question should be, why is this important for your business? And content marketing is truly important for your business because it's going to help enhance and expand awareness of your business's brand, so that people know who you are, what you do, and why you do it well. It's going to help you to engage with your current customers or clients and prospective customers and clients. And it's designed to help you connect with specific demographics that you are interested in attracting. Those demographics might be by a geographic location, or it might be a specific subset of the community. And at the end of the day, the most important thing content marketing is designed to do is to help you to increase your sales. And at the end of the day, for all business owners, that's the name of the game. So let's start with some facts. So some important marketing data to consider, and it'll help you to realize and appreciate why content marketing is so important. Outbound marketing is not as effective as it used to be. So outbound marketing is anything that stops what you're watching or reading online to advertise a product or a service or brand. Most of us know them as pop-ups. You'd be on a website and all of a sudden a pop-up would jump up in front of your screen, and you'd be forced to read it or listen to a video or watch something, whether that's for 10 or 15 or 30 seconds or even a minute, based on what the advertiser paid to have that in front of you. However, there are reasons why this is no longer an effective method. According to Our World in Data, which is a large data gatherer, 3.7 billion people are online worldwide. Nearly a third of those people, the third of the world's population rather, uses social media. So you do want to be in front of your demographic on social media because that's where they are. 68% of consumers state that they have a more positive view of a particular brand. That can be a brand of a product, it could be a store, it could be a service provider, after consuming your content, typically online. And going back to point number one, by 2015, 200 million people who were online had installed ad blocking software. That means there is a software that they have put on their computer that's running behind the scenes, that every time one of those pop-ups is trying to pop up on a person's computer, it's suppressed. So you're paying to advertise through a pop-up that can no longer get to the end user. So while a lot of pop-up advertising still exists, it is no longer as effective as it once was. So first things first, how do you develop what you're going to use for your content marketing, and in terms of having some goals so that you can assess whether or not you're successful? So you need to set campaign goals, whether it's going to be to sell a particular item, whether it's going to be to have more people walk through your door or click onto your website, whatever those goals are. You want to set them and be specific about them, because the most successful campaigns have specific goals. So if you want to increase business by 10%, that's a goal. So now if you increase it by 12, you know you achieved your goal and actually surpassed it. If you only hit 8%, you got close. If you only hit 2%, something is off. And that way you can learn to, what went wrong and how to improve for going forward. If you don't know what your goals are, then the problem you're going to have is that you won't know if what you're doing has been successful. So the very first thing is to sit down and think about what some of your goals are and actually put pen to paper and write them down. So here's some sample goals: increasing your revenue, generating new leads, new prospects for your business. That might be new people walking into a store. If you have a service, it might be new potential clients for your service. And that can be anything from bookkeeping to a salon wanting, looking for new clients to walk in for hair, nails, makeup, whatever services are offered. So an improved marketing campaign. So if you're just trying to overall enhance your campaign so that you have better brand awareness out there, that's part of a goal. Brand health, what people think of you. Do they know your name of your business, and what do they think of your brand? So that's your brand health. An enhanced customer experience. So is your content helping your customers to really have a better experience in working with your business, whether that is being more specific and understanding better about what you do. There's all kinds of ways that your enhanced customer experience is related to your content. And positioning you or your company as an expert, because if you are positioned as an expert, people want to come to the person who is the source. So the next thing to consider is, who is your audience? So you need to determine who you're trying to reach. Once you know who you're targeting and what you're hoping to achieve, you can actually plan a campaign. So some target audiences, it can be looked at in different ways. I mentioned this earlier. So you can be looking at, if you have a local business, that your draw is really coming from the local community. So your target might be broken down by zip codes, by community, in large scale developments in the city. Sometimes it's broken down by certain apartment buildings. Over off of the LIE in the northern state, you have North Shore Towers, not far from where you guys are located. So a campaign could be just within that particular community, because it is such a large scale effort to hit there. It could be by price point. If you are a very high-end business, you might be looking to reach people who are going to spend in that price point. Or conversely, if you are an economy pricing business, so you want to target people who are looking for those cost savings, and will look for that in the content. Or affinity. So you might be looking at folks, and I gave you some examples here: pet owners, parents, music lovers, concert goers. There's all kinds of affinity groups. It might even be foodies. If it's a restaurant, it might be, something that's going to target people who are always looking for a great new restaurant to go to. So to remember to give thought to who else is marketing to the same people you're trying to reach. So give consideration to who your competition is, because you're going to have to set yourself apart from those competitors. So next is to have a good, healthy supply of content that's at the ready. If you are constantly struggling to meet a deadline for your next piece of content, you're going to get very frustrated. So to gather up some content so you have a little bit of a stockpile will give you a little bit of a chance to catch your breath as you're doing this. There are going to be certain content items that are very, very timely. So those are ones that you may have to do more on the fly, but you can be very planful and have a good, healthy supply of your content prepared and ready to go. And then you can schedule. So here are some types of content. And remember that content takes a number of different forms. please, 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 this is a very important thing. I always try to mention this. You don't need to use them all. Sometimes people want to, all right, I'm going to do a content marketing campaign, and you see a half dozen or a dozen types of content, and you think you have to get involved with absolutely every one of them. That's not how you have to get started, especially if you're outsourcing to someone who does this professionally. You can say, I want to use A, B, C, and D. But if you're going to be doing this, you have other things on, on your calendar for the day for your business. So get your feet wet with just a few. And then once you're more comfortable in doing this, you can add one more and one more and one more. And some just may never be what you're looking to do, but you can grow with this as you grow with your comfort level. So some types of content, images, having good photos, logos, different images related to the topics you want to cover, of your business, of folks at your business, things like that. Videos are super important because they help you to move up in the search engine optimization, particularly with Google. Infographics. For those of you who aren't sure what an infographic is, it's designed to use small sketch images to convey your point. It's much less words, much more on an image. They're very simple images, and they're designed to make a point. Usually it's a statistical point about how something is working well or not working well, and how your business can solve that issue. Press releases, blog posts, email messages, ebooks, and white papers. A white paper is a document. It can be as short as 3 pages, and it can be super long. It can be 10, 15, 30, 50 pages, depending on the topic. And they're usually designed to clarify a particular point about which you are positioning yourself as the expert. So, tips. Whatever form of content you choose, remember to keep it interesting, relevant to your business and your audience. Remember that you want it to be informative. People are learning something, and it should have a call to action. So a call to action might be download here. It might be contact us today. It might be sign up for our newsletter, but it's always got an action involved, and it's designed, therefore, to engage the reader to interact with your business intentionally. The next tip is to be consistent. So if you are going to post, be sure that you're setting a bit of a schedule and you're distributing that content regularly. You don't want to be heavy duty every single day for a week and then nothing for a week. So you want to be very consistent. If it's a restaurant and your busiest days of the week or toward the end of the week, you may want to post midweek, like Wednesday, Thursday, to entice people to come on the weekend. If it's something related to people's weekly shopping, then you may pick certain scheduled times, and certain social media and such have very specific times of day and times of the week, days of the week rather, that are more heavily viewed. So you want to have your posts going out and your messages going out when people are more likely to read them. Same thing with email. Email does better midweek, because if an email is a business related email, you want to make sure people are going to read it. And if it's only a professional email that someone may not check on Saturday or Sunday, now by the time they get back on Monday, it's all of Monday morning's emails are coming in. You've been pushed down very far. You may end up as part of that delete, delete, delete process. So you want to stay at the top. So timing is important. And for some types of content and some businesses, this may be daily activity. In some cases, it may only be once a week. So you have to kind of consider what's realistic for you to accomplish and what is going to work best for your type of business. Each of you comes from a different type of enterprise, and you want to make sure that you are posting accordingly. So the most important thing to remember about your content is that it's not about you. Let that kind of sink in for a moment. Um, Content is about your end user. So it's about their pain. So if you were an accountant or a bookkeeper, it's someone who's having a terrible time with um, their particular accountant currently and is looking for someone new. So content marketing isn't about advertising you or your business. Advertising is a very different animal. Content marketing is about finding the customer's pain point and offering a solution that your business can provide. It's a very, very different perspective. So if you take only one point away from tonight, that's the point to take away. That when you advertise, you're putting out, we have a sale well, we're using the pet shop example here. So we have a sale on dog food. Okay, that is an ad, but content marketing is going to come out differently. So, for example, you may have the same pet food or supplies as a competitor, but customers may be disappointed with the fact that when you walk into a big box store, the customer service is lousy. So, your pain points that you're satisfying is the fact that your small business offers wonderful customer service. There's a personal touch. You might know the name of dogs that are traipsing through, and so it's hey Butch and hi Fluffy, and petting those dogs and understanding that they're your customers too, and that is going to speak to a pet owner. So you have satisfied that pain point because it's the customer service that you can provide that a big box store likely does not. So when you're choosing your content, try to remember those pain points because that's what you're going to be able to drive home. So once you have your content ready, you need to think about how you want to push your message out there. So there's different distribution channels. Let's start with social media. And every social media channel, all the different platforms have value. But you don't need to be everywhere. Just like you're not going to use every kind of content, you don't necessarily need to start with every one of the social media platforms. It may be too much work for you. So my suggestion is to choose 2, maybe 3 that would be the most relevant to reaching the demographics you're trying to reach. So consider the content type when you're looking to share, because a platform like Instagram or Pinterest, very, very visual platforms. Almost everything about the share is a photo and a video. TikTok, completely by way of video. Blog posts do better if you link them to Twitter or LinkedIn, where it's more verbal. LinkedIn is also fantastic if you have an ebook or a white paper. That's where professionals are going to look to download that. So depending on what market you're trying to reach and which kind of content you're using, that will help you to choose which 2 or 3 platforms are going to be the best for your kind of advertising. So if you're selling retail, clothing, accessories, things like that, LinkedIn and Twitter aren't really the best places for you. You're going to want to be on Instagram. You might want to be on Pinterest. You absolutely would want to be on Facebook. So again, you have to figure out what you're trying to promote and who you're trying to promote it to. Then you can determine where it should be. Email marketing. This is a tremendous avenue for content marketing. So it's important to continually cultivate a quality email list. When it comes to email marketing, it's all about who's on the receiving end. So if your list has old addresses that constantly bounce, then your list needs cleaning. If your list is consistently getting unsubscribed to, then you're not emailing the right people. So that's something that you need to cultivate. Your list is going to be used to send out different kinds of content in addition to straight advertising. And the more you cultivate that list, the better it's going to be for you. Remember when you email not to oversend. The average person, as I have written here, will read or at least acknowledge a limited amount of email from any given source. If you over email, they're going to unsubscribe, or they're going to just move you to their junk folder. If you go into the spam folder, you will likely consistently go there, and getting out of there is next to impossible. Once you're unsubscribed, they're they're not going to be on the receiving end of anything you do again. And it's really a multi-step process for them to change their mind and want to resubscribe to you. Next, let's talk a little about search engine optimization. That is the art of being findable by the search engines that are online. And as I mentioned earlier, Google is the #1 search engine in the world. And you are findable on Google and any other search engines out there through certain keywords. So, for example, if we talked about the pet shop, so you might be under pet shop, you might be under dog, you might be under cat. If you carry iguanas, it might come up under that. Um, there are a number of different keywords and phrases that people will type that you will be findable under. And those keywords are related to your posts, your emails, what you have on your website. This is where your words matter. This is where your photos and your videos are going to matter. So your content needs to have a nice balance of valuable information and those keywords. If you're using completely different words in the information than what those keywords are, you won't be found. So if you are putting in that you want to be found under these 10 words, those 10 words need to be used in your content, whether that's social media content, your website copy, emails, and so on. So make sure that the content you're creating is interesting. It's informative. Make sure it's relevant to the people who are receiving it. And of course, like I mentioned before, suggested action. There should be a call to action. After that, you need to review and make sure that from the findability perspective, that you've got those words in there and that the search engines will be able to find you. So let's talk about some other forms of communication. So you want to expand your efforts to other mediums beyond social media and email. So there are some niche platforms. Those might be things that are industry specific. So if your market is doctors and healthcare professionals, there are loads of niche platforms for them. There are platforms for people in the pet space, for folks who are doing things in beauty or health and wellness. So there's all kinds of specific industry platforms. Also for interests or groups, there are lots of parenting groups. There are things, if you subset parenting to dance moms, that's under interests. So you'll be able to find different types of platforms and have content that's there. And in that way, if that's specific to what you do, it will attract a more targeted audience to your website because the content is specific to their area of interest. You can sponsor content, you can submit content for consideration. So that would be an article that might have some value. And then at the bottom, it's going to talk about, Bob Jones is, and it's going to talk about why, he's the owner of yada, yada business. And he has 20 years experience in the field. And so why he's an expert in his little bio at the bottom. And so all of that is going to give you an opportunity to be in those spaces at no cost. Sponsored content has a cost, and that's very targeted, and that can be a very useful form of a blend of content, marketing, and advertising. If you are submitting for consideration, be courteous, be sure to say thank you if it's used, be sure to share on all of your platforms, on your website, thank them for having included your article in their May 2021 edition. It will help to establish you as an expert in the field. Those types of things can lead to opportunities to speak, other opportunities to submit, and all of these things Position you as an expert. If you're an expert, people want to buy from you. So what do you write? So now you know who you're sending it to, you know what your goals are, you know where to post it, but what to write. So, like I said before, it's about them. It's not about you. So when you are writing, make sure that your content is very user centric. It speaks their language, it speaks to their interests, it speaks to their pain points, and they're the most important part of your story. So it should be interesting and engaging and about them and what they might need. So I'll use my favorite ABC pet shop again, and that pet shop may have information about pet wellness, about grooming. It could have, there might be a piece that's very timely about a recall on a pet food. Things that about how to be productive while you're working from home with your pets. Let me tell you, as a pet owner, that would speak to me. A dry cleaner might have posts on tips to help your clothes last longer, how frequently to bring them in for cleaning. A salon or a spa might offer tips on extending the life of your hair color, at-home regimens, benefits of massage. So you can see those are things you're not saying, hey, come book a massage at my spa. You're saying these are the benefits of massage. And at the end, you talk about what your services are. And it happens to be there for the taking. So then what? So the logical next steps may be to include signing up for a newsletter, saying yes to a free trial. That's why if you think about gyms offer a free trial. It's usually either a week or a 2-week pass. Typically it's a referral. So bring a friend or sign up today for a free week, because if you try my service, you will like where you're coming and you will then become a customer. So downloading something of value that requires an email address. 80 to 85% of people say they will offer up their email address, at which case now it's on your list, if it means that they're going to download something that they can use. So all of these steps help you to cultivate your relationship with these prospective clients, or if they're already clients, helps to deepen that relationship. So these are relationships that you can lose in a heartbeat if you're rude to people. So you are actually putting your energy the other direction, nurturing those relationships, building trust until they're ready to take that next step. And that next step that you're looking for is the purchase of your product or service. So I like to call this wash, rinse, repeat. Stop thinking of original content as single use. You can repurpose information in its proper format on other platforms. Use your content a couple of times. First of all, it makes what you prepared more valuable because you got more bang for your buck. So what does that mean? That means if you have a post that you put on Facebook, you should be able to put that on another platform. Maybe it goes onto Instagram. It's adjusted for the shape of Instagram, needs to be a perfect square. Perhaps you are then using that topic and it's going to be a small section on your website, or perhaps it's included in your newsletter as a piece of content that's going into the newsletter, because the newsletter is going to have a couple of different items in it. So you get to use things more than once. And that means every single item that you use is not more of your time. If it's getting to be used a few times, for the women on here, it's like when you have a dress you wore to a wedding, that was great, and it's sitting in your closet. But if you go to a wedding and another wedding and it's with all different people and you can wear that dress again, that's getting more bang for your buck. So some tools and tips that can make all of this a little bit easier. So for social media, you don't want to have to be in the position of scheduling, of posting every single day. If you know, for example, you're going to post on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, just for argument's sake, having to go on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday every week can become time consuming. You can spend one small block of time on a scheduling product, a scheduling platform like Buffer or Hootsuite, and schedule all of your posts for the next week or the next month. And then only things that are really timely, that are just happening on the fly, have to be posted. But if you sit and schedule once a week, once a month, it'll be one block of time and you're done with scheduling. So some of these products like Hootsuite offers a free account for a certain number of platforms. If you cross over the number of platforms, you'll have a paid account, but it can be very valuable in terms of the value of your time to have a small fee that allows you to knock all of this out in one fell swoop. For your email marketing, it will be so much easier for you to have an email marketing um, product that you are using. The two largest in the marketplace are Constant Contact and MailChimp. Um, MailChimp does offer a discount for nonprofits, and they offer a free account for a smaller list and for a lesser number of emails that go out each month. But to get your feet wet, free is not a bad place to start. Constant Contact also offers a trial. So you can see which one speaks to you better. MailChimp has great templates that you can use so that your products, whether it's a flyer or a newsletter or just an email, that it has a great visual and it's very user friendly. So you may want to give that a go. For other content development sites, Canva offers free products, lots and lots of free templates for flyers and invitations and email, as well as social media post backgrounds and images. Contently and Adobe Spark also offer lots of really good products. For organizing all of that content, HubSpot, Trello, Asana, and you can get away with Google Calendar. Some of these are free or free to a point. Google Calendar is a free product, and you can organize what needs to go out. So if you want to look at a calendar and know that on certain days of the week, at certain times of the day, you're going to post onto Instagram. Other days and different times of the day, perhaps it's going on to Pinterest or whichever platforms you've used, but you can lay it out on a calendar very easily. And that will, I know a lot of people are very visual, and having it laid out that way will make it a lot easier for you. And very important, Google Analytics will provide you with some basic statistics of how your efforts are going. And that will make it easier for you to track what you've done and how well what you've done is going. And that's really critical because that's going to help you to determine what's working really well, what needs a little bit of tweaking, and what maybe is just not for your business. So really important to consistently assess and see what is really your strength, what needs some assistance. And now I'm going to open it up for questions and answers. Before I do that, I would like to say thank you to you. And if you are looking to get a hold of me, my name again is Tammy Severino, and you can reach me at La Fuerza CDC. My email is tammy@lafuerzacdc.org, or you can message me at 631-834-1990. I try very hard to get back to everyone same day. And if it is a question that I cannot answer, I have colleagues in the industry who specialize really deep dive in a particular area, and I can reach out, but I have only been stumped by one question thus far. So